Am I looking at right?
There you go. 3 minutes is up. So I'm going to call this meeting, the Oskaloosa City Council, to order. We start with the invocation from Central United Methodist Church.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim Lee, the lead pastor of Central United Methodist Church. I am honored to offer these invocations as we gather today, and so let us take a moment to center ourselves in prayer. Dear God, we come before you with hearts filled with gratitude for the opportunity to serve our community. We ask for wisdom and guidance for the decisions made in this meeting, that they may reflect fairness, justice, and compassion for all. Bless the leaders gathered here with discernment and understanding, that their actions may lead to a brighter future for our city of Oskaloosa. May we work together in harmony and unity, seeking the common good for all our residents. In your name, we pray for wisdom, courage, and compassion. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Pastor. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Allman?
Here.
Calgery?
Here.
Summer?
Here.
Dross?
Here.
Hermsen?
Here.
Ibrahim?
Here. Okay.
Motion?
Here.
Okay. Next item up is the opportunity for community comments. This item is reserved to receive comments from the community for concerns whether or not they're included on the current agenda. Community is encouraged to speak before the mayor and city council, asked to keep statements brief, time limited to no more than 3 minutes. Any questions are to be asked of the city staff, council members, or the mayor prior to speaking to the full council, so concerns can be properly researched and answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and city council only. Is there anyone who would like to speak tonight? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on. Next up is a proclamation to be signed regarding mental health awareness. This is a proclamation that will designate May as Mental Health Awareness Month. And to read it out, it says, whereas 1 in 5 adults experience mental health struggles in any given year, and 1 in 20 U.S. adults experience serious mental illness each year, 50% of all lifetime mental illness begins by age 14 and 75% by age 24. And whereas significant delays, sometimes decades, often occur between the time symptoms are first appearing and when individuals get help, and whereas early identification and treatment and community support can make a profound difference in the successful management of mental illness and recovery. Whereas it's important to maintain mental health and to learn the symptoms of mental health conditions so individuals and their families can reach out for help when it's needed. Whereas every citizen and community can make a difference in helping end the shame, misconceptions, and stigmas that have surrounded mental illness and deterred individuals from their families from receiving help. And whereas public education and civil activities can encourage mental health and help improve the lives of individuals and families affected by mental illness. And whereas each business, school, governmental agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen has a responsibility to promote mental health and well-being for all. Now therefore I, Mayor David Creutzfeldt, hereby proclaim May as Mental Health Awareness Month in Oskaloosa, signed this 6th day of May 2024. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this tonight?
Okay, so I'm Brittany Hoover. I'm NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, South Central Iowa's Executive Director. So we cover 11 counties, Oskaloosa and Mahaska being one of those counties. So we offer free support groups and programs and presentations for those affected by mental illness and for their families. So thank you for this proclamation. It is a good reminder to everybody that you are not alone, and that is our slogan, you are not alone. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you
And next up is a presentation, the Center for Rural Innovation Initiative.
All right, so back in the fall, you may remember we received some grant funds from the Kaufman Foundation that fully supported having the Center on Rural Innovation come and work with our community. So that was back in the fall, and then at budget time, if you remember, I presented that they were going to be coming in January to do the assessment, 2 full days in January. So they came January 30 and 31. We were at the Fairfield Inn, and they had 2 days, lots of individuals from the community, so lots of input, and did the strategy assessment and eco assessment for Oskaloosa. And so now we're kind of on the second phase of that, where there's EDA application that we're looking to apply for, and there's several stages on that. So I did a handout for you so you can kind of see the different scale, but it's called Build to Scale. That's the program that we're working on, or the application we're working on currently. The Ignite stage is what we're looking at doing, so it's up to a $300,000 match. And this program is specifically for entrepreneurs, and more specifically just for tech entrepreneurs. And so this assessment, and I'm happy to share the full report that we received back in February, but 40 pages. It was very in-depth. It's very well put together. So we're using a lot of this information from this report for our application, which is very helpful. So the application we still are working on for the next couple months, but they kind of aligned in here some different problems and solutions that we're going to be working through. So we've been meeting via Zoom weekly since February. A lot of hours have been put into this project, and so we're really excited to present this and hopefully submit an application. That's going to talk about some of the problems that they found.
So the good news about the assessment is it showed that our community is very, very prepared to support tech entrepreneurship. One of the assets obviously is broadband. Not very many communities have the kind of service we have. We have a university here, we have community college in the area, we have the exchange group. So we have a lot of assets to draw on. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the problems, but what we're going to do is build our solutions on a great foundation. But 3 core problems that we've decided to focus on in the application. First of all, we lack a central office just to support tech entrepreneurship, or a central person. So people who have an idea, I mean, the first question I ask is, well, where will we find these people? and the fact of the matter is, they're not really coming out of the woodwork, they're not coming out of the garages or wherever they may be at the university, because they don't know where to go for help. So they go to the exchange, they go to the chamber, but we don't have an ecosystem built, and we don't have a central place where people navigate to. So we'll be focusing on how to address that using those core organizations that have been a part of this. The second problem is really a lack of cohesive pipeline and programmatic resources. And so we know, again, that we have a lot of formal education, and we know that we have a lot of individuals in this community that could mentor somebody who had a business idea, but again, we haven't built a place and a program for that. So in order to do that, the solution to that problem is to begin conducting surveys, to begin having conversations with people. Who has an idea? What do you know? And then to start hosting what would be called meetups, where people who have resources and people who have ideas just come and start to talk about that on a regular basis. Then you could build up to something that looks a little bit more like Shark Tank. But we'll be starting small, just to kind of find people and to begin to listen to what people want and need. And then the third problem is no real recognizable brand for the ecosystem. And Dee mentioned a workshop that we had in January. We had a lot of people here. One of the people we invited in was a young woman, very, very accomplished at William Penn. And our facilitator said, "Young lady, what do you think about this community? What do you think one of the problems is?" And she said, "I never thought of this as a tech town." So obviously we have a branding issue, and that's one of the things that we're going to be addressing, just how to market our community and brand our community as a place for tech entrepreneurship. And you might be asking, why is that important? Well, it's a statistic I've given many times in front of the council, so I'll say again, our community is built on 24% advanced manufacturing. So we are built on a base of hometown headquarter companies. You start to think about Musco, Clow, Oskaloosa Foods, Kilderman, Cable Bay, and on. The companies that were built here, who started with entrepreneurs. This project is about building the foundation for the next group of entrepreneurs who will build businesses here. And we won't leave it to chance. We have to be very intentional about building an ecosystem so that our economy continues to be strong. And so that's really what we're about with this application. As Dee said, we're in the process of drafting that and working on our match and things like that. One of the things we will need from the council now or before we apply is a letter of support. So if you can see your way clear to that, we can provide a little more specific information so you have something to work with, but that would be the ask.
Beth, can you talk about how many towns were selected out of the U.S.?
There are 6 communities that were offered the opportunity in this cohort. We are the only community in Iowa, so that's, I think that says something about our community. And they didn't have an applicant in this part of the area, so they actually came to our community. They said, we know you have a lot going on in your community. We know you have broadband, so we know that you're a strong community to work with. And so we've had a really nice working relationship with them, but we are one of 6 in this cohort.
Yeah. I just wanted the rest of the council to know that
Yeah,
with sitting on the chamber board, I thought it was important that you share that information.
Yeah, we were recruited to apply.
I don't have my dates in front of me. Was this the group that came out to the Indian Hills Center at that time?
They were here January 30th and 31st, and so we did a 2-day workshop
Okay.
at
So
the Fairfield.
I'll let you know, and I have been teaching for 30 years. I've never had anybody walk into my classroom unannounced, not look at me, not talk to me. I have never been so rudely treated by a group. You were there with them, so were some others. They didn't say who they were. They didn't say, hi, how are you doing? Anything. So I'm a little worried on this. It was a horrible first impression for me.
Okay, that might not be. We might be talking about a different group because we didn't go.
I hope
we
so.
Didn't,
I
we
really
didn't. We
hope
went into
so.
empty classrooms and toured after hours, so there were no classes going on. So that
I was
would
sitting
say
there.
that's a different group.
No further than Ben.
Yep, different group. That wasn't us.
Okay, I hope not, but you were there.
Yep,
and
wasn't
nobody,
us.
so
Wasn't us.
I don't know who it was,
Yeah.
but social skills are definitely part of anything. So
Very true.
I just want to make sure to clarify.
Very true. No, that wasn't our group.
Is there a specific example you can give? I mean, this is very nice, sort of an overarching, but, is there a specific, example of, tech entrepreneurship is about as vague as you could be.
Sure.
Is there one example in a past grant that you could give
Sure.
us?
I'll give you the example they gave us. So they worked with another community and kind of went through the similar process, and they had a gentleman that ran an auto body shop
Okay.
and was having problem keeping up with his billing. Very successful business, but was having trouble with just keeping up with his billing and basically the business end. He had a gentleman come in as a customer, and they were talking about that, and this gentleman said, well, I'm a computer specialist, and so I can help you with that. So he built a program, this computer specialist built a program to help the gentleman that owns the auto body shop. And now the gentleman that owns the auto body shop is also fixing vehicles, but he is also selling a program that he paid for. And so that's, I mean, it can be that simple, or it can be, invention of something, but that
It's a great example, especially for rural Iowa. I can't tell you how many animals my husband has hit on the way home. So, we could use more body shops and accurate billing. I've taught communication courses for the mechanics, and that's their most important, is the billing and the communication and how they treat their customers. So, good example.
We can share some of those examples too that they had at the January 30 and 31 meeting.
Okay, that sounds,
They actually showed a video of some, so we can send you a little video of what but this would look like on the ground.
Okay. Sounds good.
So there's a comment or a line in here on the handout that says the deadline expected mid-spring 2024. Is that still accurate? Because I think we're kind of like at mid-spring.
Yeah.
It's a federal grant, and we're waiting for the notice of funding. And in order to release the notice of funding, they have to pass a continuing resolution for funding for U.S. Department of Commerce. So we're working ahead. So we're ready when that NOFO comes out, because we expect we'll have about 45 days to submit once that is announced. So we're working ahead with this group.
Sounds real good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Moving on to item 7, this is the consider the adoption of the consent agenda as presented or amended. There were a few things I'll make sure I've got this. Yeah. Yep. Let's see, items to call out. I wanted to draw your attention to items G and H. Both of these are resolutions scheduling public hearings for the sale of city-owned property. Both of them are on June 3rd, 2024. Item I is also a resolution setting the public hearing for the sale of city-owned property. This is right away on Highway 63. That is on May 20th of 24. And then items J, K, and L are hearings that will be taking place regarding public hearing for charging businesses with selling tobacco to a minor. Those are on June 3rd of 24. And I think. Yeah, and then item M is also a resolution that is affirming an easement agreement with Industrial Development LLC for airspace above city-owned property. I believe, Bob, you want to abstain from that. Is that correct? Okay. Do we have a motion of support for the consent agenda with Bob's abstention on that single item?
Moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I'm just a little confused on 3 charges of selling tobacco to a minor. Does that jeopardize their license? Or I'm not sure how we as a council, I thought that was law enforcement. I'm just asking for clarification since there's 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Ben, do you want to comment to that?
Yeah, so every year the state pays us to do tobacco enforcement checks, and these were the 3 businesses this year that sold. So then the city attorney's office does the public hearings for this for the fine.
Oh, okay.
The state
Okay.
has us recheck the report.
Oh, okay.
How many did you check?
All of them.
All.
We check all of them every year, plus we do 2 in New Sharon and 1 in Fremont.
Okay.
The state's contract.
Along with alcohol, I assume,
Just tobacco.
for this. Okay.
And Lisa, what happens with those? The state, then the Attorney General's office, they send us out notice on those things. The city can prosecute those, or the state will if we do not. If we prosecute them, we get the fine. There's a $300 fine on first offense.
Okay.
Second offense, it ratchets up, and these are all 3 first offenses on these.
Other questions or comments on the consent agenda? Roll call, please.
Calvert,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Armstead,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Allman,
Yes.
Calgery,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Now we get us to the end of the consent agenda. Item 9 is the announcement of vacancies that we have on various boards and commissions. The Airport Commission has 1 vacancy. This is a term ending December of 2027, and 1 vacancy for a term ending December of 2028. Building Code Board of Appeals, 1 vacancy for a regular member and for an ex officio member. Board of Adjustment, there's 1 vacancy for a term ending in December 2028 and 1 vacancy for a term ending in December of 2029. Haskell County Solid Waste Management Commission, we do have 1 vacancy, term ending in December of 2024. The Historic Preservation Commission has 1 vacancy for a term ending in December of 2027. Planning and Zoning Commission, we have 1 vacancy, and that's for a term ending in April of 2029. And the Municipal Housing Agency, 1 vacancy for a term ending in February of 2026. Getting into the regular agenda, item number 1. This is to consider a resolution approving the final plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost. This is for the North G and North 4th Street reconstruction project. Gardner & Associates has prepared the plans and specs for the North G Street and North 4th Street reconstruction. Scope of work is between, for those two streets between High and A Avenue. Engineering estimate $306,878.50 for the project. If awarded, construction begins around May 20th of 2024, pending the notice of award, and there are 40 working days assigned to the project. So now is the time for interested persons to express their opinions and any concerns they have on the project plans, specifications, form of contract, and engineer's estimate of cost. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak at this time? All eyes looking down. Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion of support for this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Good pricing again.
Now that's coming up later.
Later.
Okay, roll call, please.
Hermson,
Yes.
Hebring,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Allman,
Yes.
Valjuri,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
Dross,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Next is the resolution awarding the contract for the North G Street and North 4th reconstruction project. It's already been described, and so the bid that came in, low bid, there were 9 bids received. Lowest bid from Blommer's Construction. Bid was in the total amount of $239,674.70, which is $67,203.74 lower than the engineer's estimate, which was $306,878.50, 22% less. The engineer consultant, Gardner & Associates, reviewed the bids and recommends the award of the contract to Blommer's. And so, as mentioned before, work to begin around May 20th, 40 working days. The staff is also recommending council authorize an additional $24,000, about 10% of the contract, as a project contingency for any unforeseen circumstances, and that would be administered by the city manager. Do you have a motion of support for this?
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Good pricing.
It is good pricing.
What's the road surface going to be?
It's 22%.
I'm just wondering with the bid, with their estimate being 306,000, what do we have a reason why they're so much lower, Sean?
Gotta get them up.
Obviously, speculating on pricing that contractors offer can be a bit tricky. I think one thing we've just seen is that contractors are ready for work and prices have stabilized since some of the worst of what we've been having. So I'm not going to say they're ever going to get back down to what they had been in the past, but I think just we've seen all that stabilize a lot more than what it had been is a big part of it. And I'll say this bid wasn't outlandish compared to the other bids either. There were several bids that were competitive.
Yeah.
I think only one of our bids was above the engineer's estimate, in fact. So.
But seeing 9 bidders on a job like this, that's fantastic. Good.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Hebring,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Allman,
Yes.
Valjuri,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
Dross,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item C, this is a resolution authorizing construction manager at risk as the delivery method for the Oskaloosa Recreation Center natatorium completion project. So after issuing a declaration of default and notice to cure, the city has terminated its contract with the project's general contractor effective February 3rd of 2023. Staff is now recommending engaging a qualified contractor to complete the construction of the natatorium at the Mahaska County YMCA. And if approved, the next step would be to publish an RFQ seeking qualifications that would be followed by a request for proposals. Do we have a motion of support for this?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ocean,
Yes.
Allman,
Yes.
Valjuri,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
Dross,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
Hebring,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item D. This is to consider a resolution approving agreement for professional services with SVPA Architects for the natatorium completion project at the Oskaloosa Early Childhood and Recreation Center. So the architectural services are related to the completion of the natatorium part of the rec center. Scope of services includes the responsibility of preparing the construction documents for the project and also reviewing the construction for conformance with design intent. Do we have a motion of support for this?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Allman,
Yes.
Valjuri,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Okay, gets us to item E. This is to consider a resolution in support of the workforce housing tax credits application that would be submitted to the Iowa Economic Development Authority for the One West Housing Development Project by Commercial Edge Construction LLC. So on June 19th of 2023, the City Council approved a site plan for One West. It's a new 3-story mixed-use building on a 3-acre site on Coal Mine Loop at Gateway Commercial Park. Proposed building includes basement parking, first-floor commercial space, and approximately 36 second and third floor apartments. The developer, Brian Ridge from Commercial Edge Construction, proposes the use of Iowa workforce housing tax credits to help fund the project. Program provides a 10% state investment tax credit for the investment directly related to construction up to $1 million. The program does require a resolution of support from the city and a local match of at least $1,000 per housing unit. This does align with the city's comprehensive plan and strategic goal to expand our local housing supply. Do we have a motion of support for this?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I know this is just a draft on this building. Oh, you don't have it up. Where's the entrance into the parking garage? To go down? Anybody know, or just curious?
It's on the back side. It's on a lower level.
Oh. Oh, all we're seeing is the front side here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where the stores would be. Okay.
Other comments? Roll call, please.
Caligiuri,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item F. This is to consider a resolution accepting final completion of the 2022 sanitary sewer improvement project and also authorize the final change order number 3 and pay applications 9 and 10. KLC Construction. LLC has completed the punch list items and is requesting final completion for the 2022 sanitary sewer project, which primarily included the installation of 1,130 feet of sanitary sewer main pipe, 360 feet of storm pipe, 13 manholes, 3 storm sewer intakes, and 771 square yards of PCC concrete. That's a big job. Also included in the request is change order number 3 that represents the final quantity adjustments, and that decreases the final contract amount by $13,535.50. Further included in this request are approval of pay application number 9 in the amount of $1,900 for completion of various small work tasks related to the stormwater pollution prevention plan, and pay application number 10 final. That's in the amount of $48,559.58, which represents the final project retainage, and that would be released 30 days after project acceptance. Consulting engineers for the project, Garden & Associates, have reviewed the work. They recommend approving the final completion of the project, and the breakdown is in the packet, and I will refrain from reading that out. Do we have a motion of support?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Comfort,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Caligiuri,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item G. This is to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 10.16 having to do with speed regulations of the Oskaloosa Municipal Code for removal of a special speed restriction. This is the third reading of this. Staff has received a request to investigate speed restrictions adjacent to the former Webster School at 508 South 7th Street. Currently, both 7th Street and 5th Avenue East in proximity to the school are designated with a special 20 miles per hour speed restriction during the school hours. Since the school is no longer in operation, staff is proposing to remove the restriction. Traffic Safety Commission here in town was informed and concurs with this request. Do we have a motion of support for the third reading?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ross,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Caligiuri,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes. Okay, that passes. Item H. This is to consider an ordinance to amend Chapter 5.24 having to do with peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants in the Oskaloosa Municipal Code. This is the first reading of this. The city is seeing an uptick in the number of applications processed for transient merchant licensing with the increase of food trucks within the last 2 years. The proposed amendment is to streamline the review and approval process for both the convenience of the customer and the efficiency on staff processing time. The proposed process improvement is consistent with our strategic plan goal 2.2, which is to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of our government. Strategy number 4. Do we have a motion of support for this?
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I appreciate our staff taking time to get these different sections of code updated. It's not easy. It takes time, and you got to do it once in a while. So I think it's great.
Especially recognizing the need that this is something that's been coming for a while, and we like efficient. So. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Carson,
Yes.
Huberty,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Alden,
Yes.
Belger,
Yes.
Comfort,
Yes.
Drost,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. That gets us to the end of the regular agenda. Way faster than I expected tonight. Reports from city staff, city manager, anything? Okay. City clerk.
no, sir, thank you.
Okay. City attorney.
Nothing, thank you, sir.
Okay. How about city council members? Lisa.
It's just nice that it's front porch weather in a small town. I was out there in my rocking chair one day and 2 people came by, gave a donation to the baseball team, so that's the quality of life in small towns.
Okay. Joe?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Charlie? Nothing. Janet?
No, sir, thank you.
No, sir. Thank you.
Rhonda?
No, sir.
Okay. All I wanted to add was we had one other event going on today in my life anyway. So the Kyle Petty charity ride came through Oskaloosa. And so I signed a proclamation recognizing the day as Kyle Petty Charity Day in Oskaloosa. The number of people who came up to me after I had spoken and said, "You have the most amazing town. We loved your downtown square. When we came into town, you had people lining the streets waving at us. And we did the best we could to wave back, but we're riding motorcycles for fun." But he said it gave us such a sense of welcome to be in such a friendly place. And then also just around that square, it was just a calm that we could feel. And then when we came back out to Kelderman Manufacturing, and there was just a tremendous amount of support that came from Musco, and we just felt very welcomed. And so we just want to let you know you've got one heck of a community here. And so I thought I would forward those random comments from people who were from places like North Carolina. So,
Yeah, I got caught up in the traffic jam right out here too.
We understand, that's all you're coming by. Yeah, okay. I've got a big round container to put the complaint in, so.
Okay. Where is it?
Right here.
No, it was good. It was fun to watch that go by.
Yeah, and just a great fundraiser in general. So, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Short and sweet, for some reason I thought.